going to, Dr. Becky, our medical director, is going to talk about the liver, and we're going to talk about something called Nash. But before we even do that, I want to introduce somebody who's been a uh, a pinnacle figure in the networking industry. He's been around for a long time and has been, very, very successful. And not only that, he was a pro bodybuilder. All right. And I'm not talking, he didn't have a six pack, he had an eight pack. Okay. I'm looking down here thinking maybe I got a keg, but no, I'm not that bad. But I mean, this guy was ripped. This guy was in magazines, unbelievable stuff. And he told me something tonight, and I says, "Look, you got to get on our call. You got to talk about it because it's so awesome." So, with that, he's him himself as well spoke on stages all around, um, the world and stuff like that, in many different avenues. So tonight, great testimony, Johnny. Johnny's
Thank you, Michael. And that was very heartwarming there on the intro that you had given me. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome all of you here tonight. I've known Michael since about 2016 when I first got introduced to Asante Organics. And like you said, I'm an all natural professional bodybuilder. And you don't hear that word a lot in the industry when it says all natural. That means that we are all natural. We are not on performance enhancing drugs. We're polygraph tested, we're urine tested, we're blood tested, that you can't have anything in your system that would be illegal as a substance. And I didn't start bodybuilding to the age of 50. And the reason I did that was to show our younger generation, and I actually have a podcast from the universe that I competed in. The youth is watching us, and they're watching us right now, even with organic Asante, because of the fact that they can go to Walmart, they can go to GNC. Some of those products have banned substances in them. It's an education process, and that's what we're here for. But when I called Michael today to tell him my update, he's known my circumstances for the last 2.5 years that I was diagnosed with multiple myeloma. And if you don't know what that is, it's a blood cancer to where your body does not produce red blood cells like the normal individual. There is no cure for that. You can put it into remission, but there is no cure at this time. So, with that, and on consultation with my oncologist, I had a stem cell transplant done in April of 2023. Michael introduced me to Dr. Ron and gave me a regimen of things that I should be taking: my super greens, my super reds, my phyto cleanse, my super sprout sterols, my B tabs. If it was not for these regimens, I wouldn't be alive today. Due to the fact also, when I was diagnosed with multiple myeloma, I was in renal failure. My kidneys were operating at 5%. I was put on dialysis immediately for 3 days a week. The reason I called Michael today is that for the last 6 months, my kidneys are starting to come back. I'm down to dialysis 2 days a week, and our numbers are still increasing. My blood work is leveled off. My hemoglobin is staying in the low 12s, high 11s, which is absolutely phenomenal with anybody on multiple myeloma. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you, these products may not be an overnight product for you to see results, but everything happens over time. I'm 62 years old. I just didn't get sick overnight, so I'm not going to heal overnight. Same for everybody on this call. But if you start these products, I can guarantee you they will work 100% of the time for 100% of the people. Give them a chance. Run the course with them, and you're going to see amazing things. When you wake up in the mirror one day, you're going to say, "Oh my gosh, there's a line gone. Oh my gosh, I got an extra rep in the gym today. Oh, I got an extra 5 minutes on the treadmill." This just doesn't happen with just training. You got to have full supplementation. Thanks, Mike, for letting me share that with everyone.
absolutely, absolutely. Thank you. And guys, that's one. Now I got to tell you this because this was um, a gentleman called me up today. His name's Robert, and he called me up and he said, and he contacted me and he says, your whole entire theory about alkalizing is 1,000% real, true. And I go, how's that? He said, I saw your post on Facebook about a fish. I don't, if the fish is sick You don't poke it, you don't burn it, you don't do all this kind of stuff. You just put it into a new environment. And he goes, so we got a goldfish, right? He goes, what is that? A 25-cent fish. He said the thing was laying at the bottom of the um of the little bowl that they had. He goes, I don't know if it's alive or if it's not. Well, I'll give it another 4 or 5 hours and see if this thing's moving around. And he says he looked and the thing wasn't moving around. He says it was like flushable, which means you're gonna throw it, flush it down the toilet, right? He goes, Mike, this is a 25, you know, a 25-cent fish. But I remembered your thing about taking the fish and putting it in a brand new environment. So he says, I got another bowl. I filled it all up with some good spring water and just, did that. He says, I put the fish in and it sunk down to the bottom. And he says, within 15 minutes, this thing's swimming around, practically jumping and doing dolphin jumps and everything like this. He says, I still got the fish. He goes, and it is true, guys. I mean, you have to go on my Facebook page and read uh my posts about alkalizing and what happens when you change the environment. It's the most wonderful thing in the world. And with that, I want to introduce a lady that I've known for over 20 years. And she was a leading gastroenterologist here in Arizona. It comes from, I know I say that wrong, don't I?
Yes.
Butts and Guts Doctor. How's that? Okay. All right. So now, and I've watched her, I knew her back then when she was practicing. And then she looked into the home-based business industry, didn't stop practicing. Let's remember that at the time. And got involved in a company when it was doing $19 million a year. And her background is she comes from a family of doctors and pharmaceutical people and stuff like that. And truly, if you mention her last name here in Arizona, they know her. They know her. They know of her. And so then she got involved with this company that was doing $19 million a year. And she was a very huge pinnacle piece of that company. And once she got involved in that company, within 5 years, that company did over $1 billion in sales. She's spoken on every stage. You can imagine stages around the world, different, and I'm sure in different media and TV and stuff like that. And we're lucky enough to have her here. So with that being said, and she gives, I'll tell you what, you know what? Never, um, never feel bad about reaching out to her. I mean, she's a very she has a servant leader's heart. She'll help anybody out. So with that being said, Dr. Becky Natrajan, let's talk about some Nash. Are those Nash potatoes?
Not exactly. Thank you,
Oh,
Mike.
okay.
Always an honor to be here. Of course, I'm going to talk about our intestinal tract being this. I
Are
didn't
you,
see that you muted me.
it was a
Okay, are we good?
we can start all over with
Okay. No, I'm good as long as you can hear me.
yes.
Okay, thanks, Michael.
All
So
right.
anyway, I was asked to speak about, love your liver, live longer, but everything is going to center around the microbiome of our gut and why it's basically the center of our systemic health. And if you're not familiar with what the microbiome is, it's trillions of organisms that live in our intestinal tract. And it just sounds so horrible, but you know what? If you've got good microorganisms and good microbiome, you're going to have good health. If you've got bad, imbalanced microbiome, you can suffer from a lot of issues. And the gut being the center of our systemic health, we know that when you support your microbiome and you do right by your gut, because you are what you eat, you are what you put into your intestinal tract, that if you support it the right ways, then you're going to support your brain chemistry because there's a super highway between the gut and the brain and the gut. But you're also supporting your immune system because 85% of your immune system sits in your gut. The largest endocrine system of your whole body is your gut. The gut microbiome is tied to healthy skin. It's tied to a healthy cardiovascular system. And it's also tied to the kidneys, to the pulmonary system, to our joints. And so when I talk about supporting the microbiome, I'm also talking about supporting your liver and biliary system. And I'm going to share a story with everyone because when I was in practice, this is going way back. And Michael, this is before I even met you. And the reason I'm going to talk about fatty liver and what you said was NASH, which means non-alcoholic steatohepatitis. The other terminology is non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. It is the #1 liver disease in the world, and it continues to get worse. And a lot of it is linked to obesity, metabolic syndrome, high cholesterol, high triglycerides, but it's also very linked to a bad microbiome because the studies clinically show that if you've got dysbiosis, a bad microbiome, you are a setup for fatty liver. You are a setup for a toxic liver. You are a setup for a sluggish liver. Sluggish liver means you can't cleanse toxins effectively. You have a sluggish thyroid and the whole body starts to shut down because your liver is your #1 detoxifying organ. And so if you support your microbiome, you're supporting your liver. So I'm going to share a story that's really interesting. When I was in clinical practice, this was really early on, we're going way back. There was a couple that came into my clinic and it was a husband and wife. And the wife is walking the husband down toward the examining room. He's very tall, very lean, very thin. And he was jaundiced, meaning his eyes were yellow, his skin was yellow, and he was so confused he didn't even know where he was. And so the bottom line is, after I looked at him, examined him, and he had a very enlarged liver, and it was very easy to palpate. And I said to the wife, he's going into the hospital now because we need to run studies like crazy. But in the meantime, I need to talk to you once he's admitted about what is he eating, risks for certain hepatitis, viruses, etc. So anyway, he gets admitted. His bilirubin is like 25, so he's yellow as a banana. His liver function tests are skyrocketed. They're just off the charts. And then something called his ammonia level, his NH3 level, when it should be 2 to 3 in normal people or even less than 2, his was 124. His ammonia level was causing something called encephalopathy. That's the confusion. That's the ability not to even be able to communicate. So after we run a battery of tests, the bottom line is he ended up having non-alcoholic steatohepatitis. He was not a drinker, but the wife said he just ate garbage all the time. Sodas, foods that were packaged, fast foods, just never took care of his body from a nutritional standpoint. So it ended up, we do the ultrasound. He's got a big liver that looks fatty. All of the liver tests are messed up. Then we go and do the biopsy and it shows an incredible fatty liver in this very lean individual who's nutritionally bankrupt and toxic. Because toxins and fat sit together and they will lodge everywhere in the visceral abdomen, but also lodge in the liver. And I knew this guy's gut was messed up too because he was eating garbage for so many years. And this is before I met you, Michael. This is before I had your arsenal of organic products that support the gut and the microbiome. But I knew enough that he needed to be on the right nutrition to support giving him prebiotics. He needed probiotics. He needed ionic minerals. He needed adaptogens, antioxidants, vitamins. And I had one of the best nutritionists come in and work with me and work with him and the family. And we got him on a nutritional program and we hydrated him. And that's all we did was put him on a program that started to detoxify through nutrition and get his liver back in shape. And within a week of being in the hospital, the jaundice went away. The liver function test normalized. His ammonia level went to normal and he was lucid. He was able to go back to work. Why did all this happen? And why is it so amazing that we have this arsenal of organic products with your company, with Asante Organics, is because everything that you have developed for the gut supports that microbiome. The fact that you've developed the organic reds and greens, They are the ultimate prebiotics, and prebiotics are kind of like fertilizer to that microbiome. So the microbiome, that good microbiome, wants fertilizer, it wants food, it wants your reds, it wants your greens, it wants the omegas, because the omegas are organic flax. Flax is like one of the best prebiotics for your microbiome in your gut. Then we have the phytocleanse. And phytocleanse is one of the best things ever developed because it gets rid of something called biofilm that can envelop bad microorganisms, bad microbiome. So when you use the phytocleanse, you get rid of the slime, you get rid of that encasement over these bad bacteria, and they leave. And then you have probiotics. These are active organisms that when they come in, they are going to populate and colonize with the good bacteria and potentiate the effects of a good microbiome. And so when we look at all of these things together, including the digestive enzymes that not only increase your T cells and support your immune system even more, but when you take digestive enzymes before your meals and at bedtime, what you're allowing your body to do is to assimilate and digest and absorb and eliminate properly. When you do all of this, you're going to have a healthy liver. If you are consistent with these products, your liver has the ability to flush fat and flush toxins. So whether you're dealing with weight issues that are linked to NASH, non-alcoholic steatohepatitis, because alcohol will do the same thing to your liver. Alcohol will cause a fatty liver, but there's so many people out there that don't imbibe in alcohol. And so NASH is the non-alcoholic steatohepatitis, that fatty liver disease, that if you are able now, through the support of your microbiome, allow your liver to flush the toxins and flush the fat, then oh my goodness, your body's able to detoxify more. You're able to lose weight if you need it. Your thyroid will perk up. Your adrenal glands will perk up. So will your cardiovascular system, your brain chemistry, your kidneys, everything. Remember, the gut is in the center of our body. It is the center of our systemic health. And so if you get on a program with these products, your body will respond, and you have to be consistent. And whether you start with one product or you take all of them like I do, be consistent. Take control of your health. Take control of your liver. Your liver is so important. And so many people walking around have no idea the amount of fat that's sitting in that liver. And if it sits there long enough, it causes more inflammation in the liver, and then it can lead to scarring, and it can actually lead to cirrhosis and hepatocellular cancer. The other thing with supporting the microbiome is that you're keeping the integrity of your gut intact, so you don't have leaky gut. So you're not leaking toxins into the bloodstream. You're not allowing the inflammatory cascade to set up. You're not allowing these toxins and fat to enrobe into the visceral area surrounding your intestines and then going to your liver. So just through knowing enough about prebiotics, probiotics, and basic nutrition of ionic minerals and vitamins, antioxidants, and adaptogens, I was able to turn this guy's life around without meds. It was remarkable. It was astounding. We actually had medical conferences on this guy because nobody would think he had non-alcoholic steatohepatitis because he was very lean. He didn't look like, an obese individual, type 2 diabetes, hypertension, metabolic syndrome, high lipids. He wasn't one of those individuals, but he still had NASH. And a lot of us running around out there have it. So get on something that supports your liver and supports your entire systemic health. I can't even tell you how important this is. So with that, I'm going green. Who's coming with me? And I know one person that's coming with me, and she's going to be the next speaker. Her name is Mint. Mint has trained with some of the best neurobiologists, interpersonal neurobiologists in the world, energy alchemists. I call her my intergalactic energy warrior because this woman understands how we think, why we get in our own way, how all distractions are equal. She's been a mentor for me since I met her. We've connected on so many levels, but as soon as I met her, I knew she was all about helping people. She's another person like me that you can always reach out to. And I reach out to her because I do consider her a mentor, because she's helped me through some very significant trying times in my world. And I brought her into Asante Organics, and she's had tremendous results. And I love working with her, and you're all going to love to hear from her. So With that, Mint, my little intergalactic energy warrior, I would like you to come on and share whatever you'd like to share tonight.
Unmute. Hey, Michael, thanks for unmuting me right on time. Thank you for that wonderful introduction, Dr. Becky. I am forever in your debt because when I stalked you and pinned you down for some really difficult answers for things that I was going through in my life, you were there for me, changed my life, changed my son's life, and then he went on to be an international spokesperson for children's health, and the ripple just keeps going. And yes, thank you for introducing me to Asante, because if it wasn't for you, I'd still be talking to people about how I'm not pregnant. I just look like I am. The enzymes are incredible. I just had an issue with my digestion. I don't know about other people who had their appendix removed, but I understood recently that that does have an effect on your gut biome. So that being said, New Year's, here we are. It's a wonderful time to be reflective. What worked, what didn't work, what you want to work. And I'm making some changes for myself. I realize that I have a mental block, just like we all do. And I was not successful in one of my goals last year, which was doing an ice bath. And this year I've got one going because I had such a phenomenal experience with the Super Sprout sterols. Been having issues with my thyroid and just being cold all the time. Not interested in an ice bath. And about 6 weeks into using the products, and I like what Johnny said, doesn't always happen overnight. But 6 weeks into the products, not only had I reordered because it was working, but that's when I had the idea, put an ice bath on your patio. It's right there. You can just jump in it whenever you want. And I'm so happy to say that I am doing it because I'm not cold anymore. I mean, I'm in a t-shirt now, even though it's nighttime. The consistency really, really does help. I've tried it both ways, and the consistency gives benefits of benefits. So you can't even separate one from another because, you know, the body all works together. You can't heal one thing without another thing healing as well. So that being said, 2025, I've decided that I am stocking up on all my faves, and I want to thank Asante for the current offer that they have for the 50% off voucher when you have 3 months in a row of a 100-point easy order. And that's easy for me to to have a 100-point easy order. I get new things every month. I have my consistent things that I love. And, you know, Robert and Dr. Becky, they're always mentioning the reds and the greens and the enzymes, the probiotics. I just, the product line is growing in my house. I love it. So I'm using my 50% off, and I'm going to encourage everybody, if you don't realize what this offer is. So sometime, you know, Michael's got another offer. The most people to have, the most influencers to have new people on any call would have either $100 cash or products from Asante. That's great. That's every single week. However, what about if every month somebody just gave you a couple $100? Wouldn't that be a good friend? Wouldn't you want to keep in touch with that one? So that's what's happening with this 50% off. You have the opportunity to stock up on things, and this goes for the discount packs too, which I'm just astonished by. For me, I was interested in one of the essential oils, and you know, in my mind, I was just, you know, it was something new, and I was having trouble justifying it. But I used my coupon. I used the voucher so that it was 50% off, and I ordered it right away. I got it, and I'm so happy that they're providing this opportunity for us to try things. They're bringing everything within reach for us and putting it on the discount packs. Now, I don't know how long that's going to apply for the discount packs. However, it does apply right now. And Angie, shout out to this lady. She is a superstar in our marketing. She says, if for any reason that we ever changed it, we would give more than enough ample notice. So I'm just assuming I'm going to be getting discounts for the rest of this year, all of this year. So that means hypothetically, let's just say if I got a discount pack and I got $200 off, that would be times 12. And that would be considered reportable income. Anything over $600 would be considered reportable income. But it's not. It's free money. Thank you very, very much. I hope everybody takes advantage of this. It's just astonishing. And I want to kind of like tap onto another few things. In addition to my New Year's resolutions, this is a great time to go into your green tree and check out your people in your downline, check out who's ordering, and reach out to them. Remind them of this 50% off voucher. It's also a great time to ask them for a product testimony. How did you like it? Did you stick with it? Was it good? Was it consistent? Was it easy? Let them tell you how wonderful it is. And then that's a great time for referrals. They're already telling you how great it is, what their experience is. Now you're telling them, hey, you can get your health in the fast track just by utilizing the 50% off voucher. And is there anybody else you'd like to help? I'm happy to reach out, on your behalf. Just ask, who do you know who could use a favor? It's kind of how I see it. They're doing me a favor by giving me this voucher. They're doing me a favor by having this incredible product line. And I am 100% moving forward. Dr. Becky is incredible. One of the things that I did is I learned about oils in food. And thank you that I get to go to her and ask her, just as any of us, if we have a question. And I literally took some all organic, healthy junk food, and I took it back to the store and I got my money back. And I felt so good about myself because in the past I would have said, well, I'll just finish this and I just won't buy it again. This is different. All these products, not only does it help your mind, but it helps your brain. Literally, you start thinking better. Your body levels up and your mind starts leveling up. Now, I'm going to remind everybody, the body has perfect intelligence, has divine intelligence, and it knows what's going on before the mind does. So I use the example, if anybody's ever had food poisoning, the mind is trying to catch up going, why don't I feel good? Why am I throwing up? What's happening to me? Meanwhile, the body's like, I got this, just go along with it. So I feel like it's the same way with things that are going well. The body's like, hey, are you noticing? We're popping out of bed before the wake up reminder. How about that? Don't need as many hours sleep. Did you notice that? Hey, by the way, when you have these reds and greens, did you notice that you don't have any cravings and you're not hungry? Did you notice that? And I just love, I mean, I'm in love with life right now. So, and I have to say that I think it's because the more of the 100% organic products that I'm putting in and also taking things out, I go and I scan all this stuff in my environment. Those soaps are out, those deodorants are out, the toothpaste is out. It's all out, 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 out. And then I just keep reordering. I look in the Asante product line and there's the toothpaste, there's the deodorant, there's the eyeliner, there's the lip gloss. So we haven't been educated on how deadly consumable products are. But what's coming? I've been told that 2020 was a test run. We have 5G running right now. And I'm going to encourage everybody, especially the Phyto Cleanse, pull out everything that's in your body that doesn't belong there, because we'll never know how many things are in there. We'll never know about how many microplastics and how much aluminum, and we're not going to know. So just assume that you're loaded, I'm loaded, we're all loaded. Everybody's got to pull it out. And I didn't get this from Dr. Becky, so if I'm wrong, Dr. Becky, please correct me. But I heard that of all the cells that are in the human field, viruses and bacterias and human cells, that the least were human cells. And we have more viruses and more bacteria than we are aware of. And having the good bacteria, having a lot of it, a lot of good bacteria on my skin, in my gut. You don't have the bad breath, man. When I smell somebody's breath, I know right away they have gut issues, right away. So I'm getting off the track now. But so anyway, everything is in reach. Reach out to me if you'd like to know anything about how to communicate, how to reprogram yourself. 2025, most important, and when I find with 90 something percent of the people that I interact with, there is an element of unworthiness to some degree. And wherever that comes from, I don't really care. I have a different attitude. I don't do that, regression therapy. Life is going to give us everything in this moment that we need. So we don't have to go digging into the garbage of the past and negative emotions. Everything will come up as it needs to come up in the right moment. That being said, take care of ourselves. Get your body going, get your mind going. If you want to know more about how to find programs in yourself and recognize programs in other people, it makes it easier to have conversations. Most important, just ask questions of the person. Dr. Becky is one of the best question askers that I have met. She's a master at it, especially when I'm asking her a question. But asking a great question, whatever they're talking about, let's talk about that, and then we'll reroute it back into what is in their best interest. We ask them questions because other people need to hear themselves say what they need, not to hear it from me. I'm not the authority of anybody except myself. So when we're interacting with other people, don't be the authority. You have ideas and you can invite, and you're exploring just like I'm exploring. Dr. Becky's exploring. Everybody on here is exploring something. So let's explore it together, and let's not have anybody be the expert except the experts. And I'm happy to be an expert in what I do. And I love that we're in a community of people here who are moving in, they're not fixed. It's a movement. It is a go green movement. And yes, Dr. Becky, I'm going green with you. I wore my green tonight just to prove it. So thank you very much for allowing me this time with what I felt was important to share. And I'm really happy to be part of this community. I appreciate everybody, really. And I do cry tears of joy when I hear these testimonies. It's what I'm alive for. It's my purpose. My purpose is to help us all get to the next level and ride this chaos out. It's temporary, and it doesn't have any ownership over us, and it doesn't have any ruling over us. And when we know that and we take command of ourselves, then life gets a lot more fun. So I'm about the fun. All right, let's have some fun.
Thank you, Min, so much. That was amazing as always. And I'm going to turn it back to Michael. And Michael, I'll have you close it out. This was a wonderful call. It's always an honor. Michael Winiger.
Oh, I was just checking. I got great biome. I don't got the bad breath thing going on. It's perfect. So, so anyway, guys, we have a lot of fun here, help a lot of people, guys and gals. And, we love you guys. We love everybody, and this time is precious. Life is precious, right? And we're very structured as a company. For the new people that are on here, guess what? On Thursdays, we get to do a lot of good, awesome training with Dr. Becky. And and on Tuesdays, you get to find out about the business side of this company, which is phenomenal. And you couldn't be in a better place at a better time because not because I'm telling you, just look around you. The world is going green with or without you. You know what? You know how you become very financially healthy in life? Get in front of a way of life before it becomes a way of life. That's that simple. And then when it is a way of life, and you were there at the beginning, I can't, if I told you what kind of money that you'd be bringing in, you wouldn't even believe it. But I've been there, my brother's been there, Dr. Becky, Mint, everybody's, Johnny. We're a bunch of people that have been in that situation in our lives before, so we know what it's like. So you couldn't get in at a better time with the Asante Organics because the database, I mean, you want to get in on a nice small database that's really congruent and again, what better place to be where, you get, you get that voucher like Mint was talking about. We decided that the best way, I guess, I could probably put this is, let me think here for a second. Um, you're getting paid to shop, and then you're earning cash back on all your online purchases, and you're converting what you already spend and buy because this is stuff. We don't make stuff. These are things. These are essentials that you need every day, and you convert that into earnings. Couldn't have a better situation, and be happy that you're the pioneers, right? Because pioneer doesn't mean how long a company's been in existence, because the United States has been in existence for a long time, way before there were pioneers. But once they started, heading out west, guess what? They got the most land. Might take the most arrows sometimes, but you're always going to get the most land. And and you know, I hear it every day and from different sources, even in the media, where people are just like, they just can't figure out how a product line like Asante Organics is so life-changing. And we put negative charges on the product. There's a lot of care taken into every formula, a lot of awards won and things like that. And you know what? I got to use these products, my kids, grandkids, and that's what it's about. And so why not all of us? And why not show the world what we have here? Because this can change their lives. And it truly can. Truly. Had a person drive here from Baltimore. Imagine that. Baltimore. And just arrived today and came in to see the company. Drove it. So what does that tell you? Right? And popped in, called us up, be there in 4 hours. What? What? All right, we waited, and we're happy she stopped in. So, guys, with that being said, Tuesday night, and you know what? You might as well be like, I forgot. Oh man, Christy, I think her name is. Yeah, let's be like her because last Tuesday she had 5 people on the call. So on Tuesdays, got a little bonus for you. You bring 5 guests on a Tuesday night call, and that doesn't mean you get your dog on there and the goldfish and that's jumping around out of the tank now, and grandma and that, all these types of things, and you bring 5 guests or more, the person that has the most, and sometimes we do it for everybody. We'll give you $100 in cash, or you can get a couple $100 in product. And on this past week, somebody won, and they're taking the product, obviously, because you can use it, you can sell it, and it's free product. So yeah, along with a voucher every single solitary month for just being on an easy order. So you are life gets busy at times. So your stuff's coming all the time. So with that, thank you guys. Thank you all. God bless you. God bless your families. God bless your businesses. And we will see you guys. You'll see me on broadcasts on Facebook. You can look us all up. We're always doing something. And get yourself into the Asante Difference private community, beautiful community to be in. And look at everybody's testimonies and things like that. But we will see you Tuesday night. Pack it out. Because you know what? I want to say this much for everybody that's sitting here. I don't want you a year from now, and there's thousands of people on this thing going, how did that happen? You don't want to be the how did that happen kind of person. So there you have it, guys. So you all have a wonderful, wonderful good night. God bless you all, and we'll see you soon.